Hey guys, welcome to the Revenue Accelerator. I'm your host, Kat Stancic, and how we do everything that I do, we're just going to jump right in. So I'm going to let Sherri-Lee actually introduce herself and tell us a little bit more about what she does and why she loves it, because she'll do a better job than I will of explaining it.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you, Kat.
There's been no
I,
preparation.
I love not knowing what the hell I'm doing. Oh, can I swear?
Oh yeah, fuck yeah.
Okay. I love knowing I'm not knowing what I'm doing when I hop on. So, okay. So I'm Sherri-Lee Woycik, and my company offers Facebook marketing and Facebook ad services to entrepreneurs all over the world, mostly teaching a lot of people who want to know how to do it themselves. We offer some done for you services. We do coaching, consulting, speaking, the whole 9 yards. And the thing for me, I started this business as a side gig. I was
Mm.
married, I had 2 kids. It was just going to be a part time gig that I did to get me out of the house a couple of times a month, teaching workshops to local business owners how to set up their Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And it was working really well. I was really enjoying it. My kids were 6 and 10. I was committed to homeschooling them. And so I wanted to be at home a lot, right? It
Mm.
was all family first. About 6 months after I started doing this part-time thing, I took my kids out for our Friday, and we had a pretty regular Friday schedule. Friday morning, we went to homeschool swim lessons. Then we had lunch together at the community center. And then we went to a different community center for homeschool science lessons, and then we'd get home around dinner time. It was a full day. So while I'm sitting there waiting for them in science class, my husband calls me on my cell phone, and I answer it, and he says, "I've changed the locks on the house. Don't bother coming back. There's lots
What?
of hotels." And he hung up. And that's how we ended our 14-year marriage.
See,
And
I didn't
I,
even know that story.
yeah.
What a D.
Right? So that gives you an idea of what our marriage was like. I mean, nobody
Mm.
ends your marriage like that, where
Yeah.
everything was, roses and everything was perfect beforehand. So, but literally Friday afternoon, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, just the clothes that we have on our backs,
Mm.
and no real money to my name because he was providing for everybody and everything.
Mm.
So, long story short, I mean, obviously it was a nightmare at the time. The kids were devastated. I mean, I remember sitting in the community center with them, just like sobbing, not understanding. I was like that. We spent a week in a hotel, and with a lawyer going back and forth to court, and him never showing up, him, not playing nice. But a week later, we found out he had left the country and left me with about $1 million in debt that he had incurred in my name. And that's when the adventure really began. Because,
You
I
guys
mean, we
can't,
were
like, if you're only listening to the audio, like, just imagine my mouth just completely, like, on the floor right now. What?
it was crazy. Like, I don't remember really the first 18 months of that because I was so devastated. It was like one foot in front of the other, just get up every day. If I didn't have my kids, I think I would have stayed in bed for a
Yeah,
year, only
it's
getting out to
amazing.
replenish my supply of scotch.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I was absolutely devastated and didn't know. I mean, everybody said, well, get a job, put the kids in school, and be
Yeah,
like
why
every
not do
other.
that? Because that's, like, the easy solution.
And I wish I had a really good answer because I don't really know where this all of a sudden came from because I had never had a business before.
Mm.
I'd always been an employee until I got married. I
Mm.
thought I was a shitty employee. Turns out I was just really an entrepreneur in employees'
Yeah, no,
clothing.
you're shitty an employee because you're just not good at it. Like, I know I've been fired multiple times. I can't, I
I
am
thought there
not
was something wrong
hireable.
with me.
Right?
2 years in every job, and then just like, man, I
Yeah.
can't keep doing this. And I knew I had something with this
Mm.
teaching people, and I love teaching.
Mm.
So I just thought I'll just start saying yes. So I took a couple of courses, and I said yes to every opportunity. And but I thought like an employee, so I didn't really know how to set my rates. I let
Mm.
my clients tell me how much they wanted to pay me
Yeah,
and
that
what I was
was
going to do for
that's
that,
real scalable.
right? So, the first couple of years were kind of just
Yeah.
a mess and just get through. And then if things started shifting and changing, I did a lot of personal work and the kids did personal work. And, here we are 10 years later now. And, we're still in the house that I sold the house I was with him. And that's what helped me get rid of the debt.
Mm.
And now we're in the same rental house. But, my kids are now second degree black belts in Taekwondo.
Yes.
One's 19, she's going to be 20 in May. The other one's 15. And I still work my business, but nobody tells me how much they're going to pay me anymore. um, and it's just been such an adventure. Like about 2 years after it all happened, I said to my daughter one day, this is going to be the best experience that ever happened to us.
Hmm.
And she thought I was crazy, but that has been my focus since then, is that there's no way, like, we can't change what happened, but there's
Yep.
no way I'm going to let that event define any of us in a negative way.
Well,
His
there's a
choice had
movie. Have
nothing
you
to do
ever
with us.
the movie Inside Out, right? Have you ever watched that?
I haven't seen that.
Okay, well, so of course I have to make a standard movie reference, but essentially,
Writing it
really
down
high level.
though.
If you've never, yeah, it's a Disney movie, but it's like basically there's this. Think of a memory and an orb, and if you look at the memory in one angle, it's a sad memory, an angry memory, a jealous memory, whatever. It's a certain negative connotation memory. But if you turn it slightly and look at it from a different angle, it becomes a joyful, happy memory.
Mm.
And
Hmm.
so I feel like there's a lot of things like that when it comes to when we are a victim.
Hmm.
Either we decide that we're a victim or we are victimized in some capacity. There is a
Hmm.
choice that can be made, and you can
Yeah.
choose to allow that thing that happened to perpetuate itself and to continue to fester, and you stay in that victim mentality. Or you can do exactly what you did, which is basically ACDC it, right? Which is translate that energy from this negative and, put it through a process that basically allows it for you to be propelled and become a victor.
Yeah.
Now you said something that was really kind of like, I was like, yes, I want to hear more about that. When you talked about your pricing, you said initially people told you what they were going to pay you because you just, that's where you were. There was, I'm going to say
Yeah.
it, there was no confidence. You
Yep.
were, I'm done,
Absolutely
and
none.
you were chasing the dollar and you were just going to take what you could get. But
Yep.
now it's like, no, I set the price. So
Hmm.
what happened to go from pay me what you think I'm worth to this is what I'm worth?
Well, that's the key. Is I mean, I'm relentless in personal work and I
Mm.
never give up. I'll quit for 5 minutes. I'll say, F it, I'm done and I'm gonna get a job. I'm tired of this. And I walk away for like 5 minutes and or I go for a drive or go swimming and I'm back. So I never really quit. And I'm the
Mm.
same personally as well. And I've just been relentless in personal work,
Mm.
especially since that happened. I mean, I had started counseling about 6 months before all that happened with him.
Mm.
And what's funny, I laugh about this now because she asked me the first day, "Why are you getting counseling?" And I said, "Well, I want to know what's wrong with me. I'm in a
Mm.
really good marriage. I've got a really good husband. He doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, he doesn't do drugs, he doesn't cheat. He's around, he provides for us, and I'm never happy and I don't understand why." Well, it took me 6 months to figure out that it was an abusive marriage. He
Mm.
never hit me, so I didn't know I was being
Mm.
amused. I put it
Mhm.
off. He had a bad day. I'll forgive that one. It was that little, the frog in the pot on the
Yeah,
water,
being boiled up. Yep, yep.
right? Like it was just a little step every day of him chipping away. And it took me a full 6 months before I could say he was abusive. And he was abusive to the kids too. And if I was going to make this the best thing that ever happened to us, him leaving, then I better keep doing the work until I saw my value. And
Mm.
I saw other people doing offering very similar things to what
Mhm,
I
mhm.
was offering. I would buy other people's programs because I thought,
Mm.
well, they obviously know more than me
And
because
then you'd
they're
watch the
making more
program and
money.
be like, "Hey, that's what I teach."
Or that's not even as good as what I like.
Ooh,
Right?
yeah.
And I'm going, wait a minute. So at some point, I went, the only thing that's different between these people having success and me having what I'm having is my level of self confidence. And so I
Yes.
just never stopped. Now, a year and a half ago, I discovered something called access consciousness. And
Mm.
that for me has really been the icing on the cake from everything else that I did.
Hmm.
And it's been hard work. I've done a lot of work, and I use the tools of access consciousness every day.
Now, do you use
Um,
it with your clients too? Like that's,
I do. Like, I bring it in with my clients because my clients say a lot of the same stuff that I used to
yeah,
say. And
yeah,
they feel similar to how I used to feel, and they judge themselves, or they hold themselves back, or they believe bullshit about themselves, or
yep.
they compare other people. And I'm not certified to
No, but you're
teach
learning
access
the skill sets,
consciousness,
right? But I
but I
mean,
sprinkle it in for them, right?
that's
And
brilliant.
make them
That's,
go, wait a minute, think about that for a minute, right? Or just ask this question, because the whole key is being in question and not looking for the results. And I was always chasing the results. And Kat, with kids, dogs, if you chase, they run.
yeah,
That's exactly what results in clients and
happens with
money
men too.
does. Same thing. Anything you chase tends to run.
Right.
So
Well, so there's an
when
energy there, like that I want to kind
yeah,
of address real quick, which is, especially when it comes to sales and generating leads and making more money in general. It's just when you're so attached to a certain outcome, when you're like, I'm going to catch this person,
yeah,
like then you're not actually getting the result that you want, because it's an indication that you're in a place of lack, essentially.
yes,
So if you're
yeah,
so focused on, yes, I absolutely talk about making money, but for me, money is a reflection of the impact, right? And so
yes,
yes, I want to help more people do that. But if you're in a place of desperation, that's a different energetic space, which is where you were initially, which is
yeah,
why you couldn't demand, because you could be, and this has happened to me, it's happened to my clients, and I'm sure it's happened to you, which is you're still doing the same level of work. Of course, you're improving it, you're adding value, you're continuously learning and making your process better. But the majority of the core of what you teach is probably still the same. And the
mhm,
only difference is your level of confidence and your ability to charge even more than you did before, not because the content is that much different, just because you're confident in yourself and your ability to help your clients get results. Which actually brings me to the
absolutely.
question of like, what do you help your clients achieve? Because people talk about Facebook ads and they talk about, LinkedIn and all this stuff, right? Platforms. But what do you help people do?
What I'm finding, especially in the last year, I really help people get massive visibility
Mm,
for their message.
yes.
And they use the Facebook platform to do that. And I
Yeah.
help them get really clear on how to speak so that their audience, their community is attracted to them.
Mm,
So they're not talking about the process as much as the results and the outcomes and the
yes.
transformation that they help with. I had a client last week. I've been working with her for 8 months, and I've been for 8 months trying to get her to stop talking about the process, and she was having a hard time getting out of it. And then a couple of weeks ago, I just said to her, think about writing it as if you were writing for them. Imagine if, and you could see like an explosion go off in her
Mm,
head where
mhm.
she went, oh, that's it. And all of a sudden, everything is different. Her copy is different. The way
Yeah.
she's talking about her business is different. And she's running a free workshop, and she does yoga. So the first time she ran it, she talked about the yoga pose
Mm,
and
mhm.
the pose that we're doing. And we're working on this pose and that sort of stuff. And now she's talking about stretching your limits and
Yes.
not letting yourself be held back and not letting somebody else tell you what. And it's the same thing, but she's got 3 times the people signed up for this thing
Yep, yep.
on a minuscule little ads budget. So for me, I help people get clear on that message and
Mm.
speak so that their community really hears the impact, and then use Facebook to get really visible and to be repetitive. You know,
Yeah.
we need to
Yes.
say things way more than we think we do. We'll
It's
do,
amazing how people think that they need to constantly recreate the wheel or constantly create just this
I did
disgusting
that.
amount of content, right? And there are people out there who have had successful careers in creating a ton of content. So here's my secret theory on that. They didn't know what they were doing. They created so much content trying to figure out what they do and the results that they leverage. And it goes to show you that you can leverage mistakes from the past in order to build credibility, right? Of being like, oh, I wrote 50 books because 49 of them I didn't know what the hell I was doing, right? So you talked
Yeah.
about small ads, because there's a lot of people out there who are like agencies, and it's like 10, 20, 100, $500,000 month ad spend
Yeah.
budgets. That is
Yeah.
not what you're about, right?
Mm-mm.
So tell us a little
Mm-mm.
bit more about, like, now I'm going to say, this is my warning side. I am all about organic lead gen, all about organic closing, but that's because people need to create success and they need to understand how to overcome objections and how to talk about their program in a way that gets people buying first, because I always add technology to automate success and to amplify success versus people who are just throwing money out there thinking that Facebook ads is going to solve their problems. So, which I know you agree with me with that. So I
Absolutely.
just want to
Absolutely.
caveat that I'm not against Facebook ads. I'm just against using them when you guys don't close sales consistently.
Absolutely. And listen, Facebook ads are not the holy grail that are just going to do it all by themselves. You
Yep.
still have to be present. You still have to be focused on growing your community and interacting and serving
You have to do
and
work?
sharing.
What?
Hell yeah. You can't just set up an ad and go off and enjoy the riches. That rarely happens.
It only
And
happens for people who have a team in place. Maybe that person is working 10 hours a week, but that's because they have a VA working 40, five other, an OBM working 30, and three other
yeah,
assistants working 20 hours each. They're doing the work.
yes, exactly. And they already know how to close. They already
Mm,
know what the copy needs to be. They already know
yes.
what
They
images
know their
resonate with their
messages.
community.
Yes.
They know what the offers are and that they're right. And then they repeat them.
Hmm.
You'll look at people who are super successful. And we had mentioned Jeff Walker earlier.
Yep. Yeah. We were talking about him.
He hasn't invented anything new in
Nope.
a while.
That the launch
He's
process is
found
not his. It's not an original idea of
He's
his.
found a thing and he keeps repeating it though. Stu McLaren, who teaches Tribe, who
Hmm.
actually set up Jeff's membership community. Every year he launches the same program
Yep.
with this. He may update his content a little bit, he may update his videos a little bit, but his process is the same. He does it once a year. It's not a new program that he offers every year. He doesn't reinvent the wheel.
Nope.
He found the thing that works and then he keeps doing it
And
and
that's
he
the key,
repeats
is
it.
he
Yeah.
found the thing that works. It took him time. It took him effort. It took him, blood, sweat, and tears, doing work to get to that place where he figured out the thing that would convert. And then they do what you do, which is they tweak it a little bit to see if it'll convert better. And if it doesn't, then they go back. And then sometimes it's a 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Sometimes it's 5 steps forward.
Yeah.
But I'd love to hear more about, like, what your recommendations are on how to leverage Facebook effectively when your ad budget isn't with a comma.
Right. And to be honest, most of my clients aren't using, that big of an ad budget. But one thing, people are really, they love to hate on Facebook.
Mm,
And I personally love Facebook, but what a lot of people don't realize is that if they take the time to use Facebook the way Facebook wants you to use it, Facebook actually will play nice with you and
oh,
reward
what?
you. Go figure. So Facebook wants you to do business on your business page,
Yeah.
not on your profile.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who do it on their profile and they don't get caught. That's fine. But if they do, there's going to be trouble. They'll
Mm,
lose their account.
mhm.
They want you to do it on your business page. If you take the time to grow a community on your business page and use all the little bells and whistles Facebook gives you, like your cover image properly, you name it
Mhm.
properly,
Mhm.
you use the right profile image, you create the right retargeting audiences in the
Mhm.
ads manager, you can retarget those people that engage with your page. Facebook actually rewards you. So about 2 years ago, Facebook's always studying, but 2 years ago they did a study and they discovered that the platform was still growing. So people were
Mhm.
still joining, new people were coming in, but people were not having as much fun on the platform and they were not staying on the platform as long.
Yeah.
Because people come to social media to have fun, to be entertained, to be educated. Maybe they're looking for recommendations on things. They're not overtly saying, I got to go find that widget and buy it on Facebook. They're not thinking that directly, but it happens a lot.
Mhm.
So Facebook said, well, wait a minute. If people aren't having fun, they're leaving Facebook, they're going to another social channel. That means their time on Facebook is less, which is bad for us as
Bad for
marketers
their
and
bottom
business
line. We
owners,
get it. We
bad
get
for them.
it.
So they challenged us as page owners to be more interactive,
Mm.
to get more conversation happening on our Facebook pages. It's not impossible to do
Mhm.
that. In fact, it's incredibly easy to get people to see your posts and to interact and to get greater reach than most people even think. And every time you get a like, a comment, or a share, Facebook tracks that
Mm.
and gives your next post even more reach.
Mm.
Because
Yep, it
if you're
rewards
being
that engagement.
entertaining, engaging, informative, then they're going to say that it's like a frequent shoppers program. That
Yeah.
post is interesting. I'm going to show that to more people because we want the interesting things in the news feeds that will keep people on Facebook.
So the rumor right now is that groups are a hot priority for Facebook, that that's where people should be focusing their attention on, that, Facebook had kind of, slapped, it kind of put groups on the back burner and they've kind of brought it back to the front burner.
Yeah,
Is that
they sure
rumor
have.
true? And then what can people do to kind of increase that engagement? So let me ask a better question. What can people do to grow their Facebook groups with ads?
So there's the trick. And so yes, groups are definitely a focus for Facebook. I've been seeing Facebook groups ads on TV.
Right.
My daughter looked at me and said, "Why is
What?
Facebook running ads for groups?" And
Wow, I had not heard that.
it's amazing. Like there was an ad for ukulele groups, and they highlighted like 5 ukulele groups on Facebook that have massive followings. And I
Cross-platform
don't. It's
marketing.
amazing. I'm love watching seeing these commercials. But anyways, groups, yes, that's a very big focus. But here's the thing: you cannot run ads to the members of your groups
Mhm, mhm,
or to your group directly,
mhm.
and so you cannot retarget anything in your groups. Now, I
Right.
just want to take a quick step. Retargeting is where you have a connection with somebody already, and then you're running ads to them to strengthen your message or
Yep.
to make sure you're in front of them more often. And any of those big guys that you see talking about having, I ran an ad this weekend, I made $1 million, and here I am with my Lamborghini at the beach. They're
That
retargeting,
we all know they rented and
right?
maxed out their credit card. Let me just say that's
Yes,
bullshit.
right. But they're
Or they
retargeting when they
spent
have the
like
success.
99% of the ads. Anyway,
Right.
those are called self-liquidating ads, guys. That means that they put
Yes.
as much money in as they come out. That means they're not making money off of those ads, just so you're aware.
And the ones that do have some success are retargeting. They are not
Yeah.
running sales ads to cold audiences that have never heard of them. They're running
Mhm.
them to warm audiences.
Mhm, mhm.
So, yes, focus on growing your group, but also grow your page because you can retarget the people on your page in
Yeah.
ads. And that's where the sweet sauce is for
Okay.
sales and growth. You can grow your group using ads by sending people from your ad off of Facebook to a landing page with great copy and a great call to action and a button that takes them back to your Facebook group. So
Mm.
it's kind of a circle, but you can't use a Facebook URL in the ad to get them to a Facebook group. So you have to send them off, which is going to cost you a little bit more because Facebook really doesn't want us driving people off of Facebook.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's going to drive us a little bit more, but you know what you can do then? You can get your pixel installed on that landing page and you can now retarget those people who landed there and ended up back at your group in other ads. So
So
it's
I've got kind of like we're kind of coming up on it, but one of the biggest things you've talked about here is retargeting, like super like and growing on your Facebook, your business page in terms of really leveraging that business page in order to target, retarget, attract, nurture, even convert people.
yeah,
What would be like a couple more like you need to do this on Facebook, and if you're not doing this, you're leaving tons of money on the table.
you need to be doing Facebook lives.
Mm,
And that's the thing that most people really hate to do because they don't want to be seen. And I
mm,
totally get it. When webinars became a thing, when was that? Like 2015,
yeah,
2014?
something like that,
And
right?
I'm like, oh, I can't do a webinar. This makes me, I'm so visible. People, I can't hide anymore. Then I got used to hiding behind slides, right? And nobody could
Yeah.
see me. And then Facebook
I thought
Lives came
about
out, and
that.
I went, what? Now I have to be seen? Are you kidding? It can be challenging, but Facebook loves Facebook Lives
Mm,
because they natively start there.
mhm.
People love Facebook Lives as long as you are clear. You don't just get on and ramble endlessly. Have a purpose, have a mission,
Yeah.
make it short. deliver something of value to your audience so that they can watch. But we go back to retargeting. Now you can retarget the people who watch those videos and invite them to a free offer to get them onto your email list, or invite them to your Facebook group, or invite them to a paid offer. I mean, there's so many things you can do. The key is to go from this massive 2 billion people party room that we're in on Facebook and narrow those people down and
Yeah.
get them to know that you exist, then to get them to grow a relationship with you, and then get them into places so you can retarget and repeat, 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 repeat.
That right there. Repeat, 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 repeat. Guys, get a strategy, get it working right. It's just like a recipe. You can have all the ingredients you want, but if you do different levels of each one, you'll go from having pancakes to having crepes to having a cake, right? You got to figure out what
Yeah.
it is that your people want to eat, put the right ingredients together and get that recipe going just right so that you don't even have to look at the recipe card anymore. You know those people who can just be like,
Yep.
that's about, they kind of they kind of just whip things together. Sherri-Lee, you've been amazing. You dropped so much value. How can people get more information from you or get in touch with you to learn more about how they can leverage Facebook ads strategically, effectively, in a manner in which that they don't break the bank?
Well, obviously, my home is Facebook. So I'm on Facebook a lot. I have a Facebook group that, if anybody wants to join that, it's called the Badass Facebook Marketing Club. We do a whole bunch
Nice.
of fun stuff there to teach you how to use Facebook pages and groups and ads to grow your business. And my Facebook page, that's in my name, Sherri-Lee Woycik. Happy to connect with you there.
Awesome.
And I'd love to, yeah, I love helping people succeed and watching them grow and achieve their dreams. That's the goal, right?
Yes. And I forgot to ask one more question, which is
Okay.
what do you see the biggest mistake that people are making on Facebook that's costing them a ton? And not necessarily meaning that they're swiping their credit card, but it's costing them opportunity.
hmm Um, there's a couple things. I would say a lot of people think all I have to do is run a Facebook ad
Mm,
and it'll be okay.
mm,
And I think a lot of people run ads before their business is ready, before they're
mm.
ready. And they're running the wrong kind of ads to the wrong people at the wrong time, and they're not getting results. And so they're discouraged by that. So don't just jump on the bandwagon and start running ads. Facebook makes it easy to run ads, and they make it look easy to execute ads, and it's easy to push buttons and spend money, but without being clear on what's the copy supposed to be, what's the image supposed to be,
Strategy. Yeah.
who are these people that are seeing this ad, how do I segment out of that 2 billion people, because if you try to reach 2 billion people, your ad budget better be huge, right? So I think the biggest mistake I see people make is thinking that Facebook is purely a marketing platform and that they can run ads at any time. And the other thing I would say is they think they don't have to be present and build relationships
Mm.
in order to do business. And that's come back to me so many times in the last year, is the success in your business will come if you are present in your business and contributing to your business.
Guys, pay attention. These high level marketers, look what they do, not necessarily always what they teach, but high ticket sales are closed on the phone. People are not converting people over on a sales page. You're getting on the phone. I don't care what guru level it is. If you're going to be pocketing out some comma value level dollars, then you're going to be hopping on the phone. So remember, this isn't about hiding behind your computer screen and setting up a perfect funnel that will get you all the millions of dollars that you're wanting to make. You're going to have conversations. You have to build those relationships.
Yeah.
And the strategies that Sherri-Lee are sharing are golden. So make sure you check out her Facebook group again, which is, I'm going to let you repeat it.
The Badass Facebook Marketing Club.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. And make sure you guys check out the show notes. Everything is going to be there for you guys to check out. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Kat. Bye, everyone.